Juujika no Rokunin Chapter 4. The spark of revenge hate changes a person. It makes them plan and wait. Shun Uruma was no longer the scared boy he used to be. Every day he trained harder in the woods with the old man, learning how to fight, how to move in silence, and now, how to make traps. The old man taught him how to tie wires, hide nails, and set up tricks that could hurt people without being seen. A trap, the old man said, makes your enemy feel unsafe. That's how you break them. At school, the Holy Five still tried to bully Shun. One day, Q shoved photos in Shun's face-fake pictures, showing him crying and beaten. "I'll show these to everyone," Q sneered. But Shun didn't look afraid. "Try it," he whispered, "and I'll cut off your fingers one by one." Q stared at him, shocked. The next few days, things started happening. Takeshi slammed his locker shut, and blood poured from his hand where a hidden blade cut him. Q sat in his chair and crashed to the floor when the legs broke. Other kids started laughing at Q, not with him. Q screamed, demanding to know who did it, and smiled. Shun just stared at him. Fear can be sharper than a knife. That night, Shun told the old man, "They're afraid now, but it's not enough." The old man nodded. "Good. Keep going. Make them feel what they did to you." And so, Shun's revenge truly began. Here's Juujika no Rokunin Chapter 5 in the same cinematic audiobook style as before, continuing directly from the previous events. Want the next chapter this way? Short and clear, or longer and more detailed again? Fantastic. Let's keep going. Chapter 5. Cracks in the Mask Revenge isn't a single act. It's a slow poison, seeping into every moment. At school, whispers followed Shun Uruma through the halls like shadows. "He's different now. Did you hear what happened to Q's chair?" Someone said Shun threatened to cut off his fingers. Students stared at him, some with fear, some with curiosity. But Shun kept his face blank, hiding the storm boiling inside him. One afternoon, rain poured against the windows. Class felt endless. Q sat in front of Shun, body stiff. His friends, the Holy Five, looked uneasy. Finally, Q turned around, voice low. "Listen, Rat, whatever game you're playing, you're gonna lose." Shun tilted his head. "You sure about that?" he asked softly. Q clenched his fists. Later that day, Q and two of the Holy Five cornered Shun near the back stairs. "You think you're tough now?" Q shouted. "All those accidents, was that you?" Shun didn't answer. So Q punched him, hard enough to send him crashing into the wall. Blood trickled from Shun's lip, but slowly he began laughing. A low, quiet laugh that made the others step back. Shun asked, wiping blood from his mouth, "Go ahead. Every bruise you give me, I'll give back 10 times over." Fear can turn into confusion, and confusion into panic. "Want to hit me again?" Q stared at him, eyes wide. Shun stepped closer, so close Q could feel his breath. "I know where your sister goes to school," Shun whispered, "and where your mother works." Q's face went pale. His friends pulled him back. "Shut up," Q screamed. "You're dead? You hear me? Dead." But the fear in his voice betrayed him. That evening, Shun returned to the forest. The old man was waiting by the fire, rain dripping off his hat. Shun's fists were still shaking. "I threatened his family," Shun said. "I wanted to see fear in his eyes." The old man nodded slowly. "Because next, you'll show them real pain." "And did you see it?" Shun nodded. "Good," the old man said. And so the boy who once cried for mercy took his first step toward becoming a monster. Chapter 6. The taste of blood hate is patient. It waits for the perfect moment to strike. The next morning, the school buzzed with gossip. Everyone was talking about the bruises on Q Shigoku's face. But Q refused to tell anyone how he'd gotten them. He just sat at his desk, trembling, glaring at Shun Uruma every few seconds. Meanwhile, Shun stared out the window, rain tapping the glass like tiny knives. At lunch, Hugh finally snapped. He slammed Shun against a wall, voice shaking. "You think you've won, huh? You think you're scary now?" Shun stared at him calmly. "I don't think anything," he whispered. "I know what's coming next." Q punched him again. Blood splattered the lockers. But Shun didn't cry. Instead, he leaned in close, bloody lips twisting into a small smile. A victim cries out. A predator smiles through blood. "You know," Shun said softly, "when I cut you, it'll feel like fire under your skin." Q stumbled back, face pale, eyes darting around to see if anyone heard. Later that day, Q and two of his gang waited for Shun behind the gym. As Shun walked past, they jumped him. They kicked him in the ribs, stomped his back, fists flying. "Stay down," Q screamed. "Stay down." But Shun dragged himself up, coughing blood. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small blade. A blade is a truth teller. It reveals who's willing to bleed and who isn't. Q froze. Shun lunged forward, slashing the knife upward. Blood sprayed across Q's arm, a shallow cut, but the sight of it made Q shriek and stumble back. "He's C-R-I-Z-Y." Q screamed. The other boys ran. Q backed away, clutching his arm, eyes wild with terror. Shun stood there, chest heaving, knife still dripping. By the time teachers arrived, Q was gone. They found Shun alone, blood running down his chin. The teachers yelled, demanded answers, but Shun said nothing. Violence makes people afraid of you. Silence makes them terrified. That evening, Shun returned to the forest. The old man was waiting beside a fire. Shun dropped to his knees. "There was blood," he said. "His and mine." The old man gave him a thin smile. "Now he knows you're not afraid to shed blood. Next time, cut deeper." "Good," he said. And so the boy who once only bled became the one who drew blood. Chapter 7. Shadows behind smiles. Not all monsters wear masks. Some just smile a little too calmly. The school week dragged on in whispers and sideways glances. Everyone knew what had happened behind the gym. That Q had screamed, and Shun Uruma didn't blink, even as blood ran down his face. But no one dared say it out loud. In class, Shun sat still as stone, writing notes, answering when called. His uniform was spotless, his posture perfect. But beneath his desk, his fingers twitched nervous, coiled, ready. In the hallway, Takeshi passed by with his usual sneer, but this time it cracked. His voice trembled. "You're dead, Uruma? You hear me?" Shun turned slowly, his gaze meeting Takeshi's. "I already died," he said softly. "You just didn't notice. They killed the boy once. What's walking now isn't something they can understand." That evening, Shun followed one of the Holy Five Shinji, the tall one with the empty eyes. He waited until Shinji turned down a quiet street, walking home alone, earbuds in, hoodie up. Shun moved like a shadow, keeping low, pacing his breath. Then, at the corner of a dark alley, he stepped forward. Shinji didn't even have time to react. Shun shoved him hard against a fence, knife pressed against his side, not stabbing, just pressing. "You ever feel cold, Shinji?" Shun whispered. "Like the kind of cold that sinks into your bones?" Shinji shook, the air catching in his throat. Shun leaned in. "You will." Then he vanished into the shadows, leaving Shinji trembling, hands frozen mid-air, like he couldn't tell if it was real. The next day, Shinji didn't come to school. Neither did Q. The Holy Five was starting to splinter. Only two remained. During gym, the teacher called out, "Pair up." Shun ended up with Seitu, the largest of the five and the cruelest. the one who used to crush snacks in Shun's lunchbox and laugh like a child watching ants burn. Seitu grinned. "You scared of me now, freak?" Shun didn't respond. When the whistle blew, the two faced off in a basic grappling drill. Except this time, Shun didn't just block. He twisted, hooked Seitu's leg, and sent him crashing into the mat hard. The entire gym fell silent. Seitu groaned, trying to get up, but Shun stepped over him, calm, slow, and leaned down to whisper, "Next time, I break something." Revenge isn't loud. It's quiet, calculated, and irreversible. That night, by the fire, the old man stared into the flames. "You've started breaking them," he said. Shun nodded. "But I'm not finished," the old man smiled. "No," he whispered. "You're just getting started." And with each broken piece of the Holy Five, Shun Uruma began piecing together the monster they created.